there. Welcome back to another episode of the Fight Gods podcast. It's your boy Nick Diddy here with my cousin Will, and tonight's guest, the best Stache in the business, Mr. Ben Doucette. And if it seems like your boy is in extra high spirits today, it's because I am. I'm getting ready to hop on an early flight, head on out to Phoenix, and watch my boy do fucking work in the Bellator main event on fucking Showtime. It's been so epic just watching the coverage on the kid, dude. Like I never thought, dude. It's amazing. It's amazing what's going on. But we'll dive into that a little bit later. Will, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing well, bro. Glad to be here. Glad to have Ben with us. Glad we're back together again and all that shit, man. How are you doing, Ben?
Oh man, I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here as always, and I am equally as hyped as Nico for tomorrow night. Or is it tomorrow night or is it Saturday night?
Saturday night.
I am super hyped, dude. It's you feel like watching the show and just being a part of this. You feel like you've grown to know the guy, just being a fan of the show and stuff. So It's awesome to see him getting an opportunity.
Oh yeah, yep. You're right about that, man. Everybody's excited about it, man. I've been posting about it all day, man. It's gonna be wild. Just for him to be there is amazing, in my opinion.
Absolutely, dude. The result doesn't matter. We're just looking for a performance of a lifetime. Like he has absolutely nothing to lose.
Yep, and that makes you dangerous.
Makes you so fucking dangerous, man.
Yep. But
tell me you saw the handshake.
Oh man, did I see the handshake?
Tell me you saw the handshake, buddy.
Are you joking? Of course I saw the handshake. I not only saw the handshake, but man, let me see something real quick. Let's see what we got here. Not only did I see the handshake, but I have this for you, man.
He tried to turn that man's hand into mincemeat.
Who did? Nemkov or Julius?
Julius, if you zoom out, look at the veins. Bro. Oh my God, bro. Energy level off the charts right there. He looks so stoked to be there.
Bro, look at his arm, man. All the veins popping, bro.
Jack.
Yep. For real. Hey, look, we'll just go ahead and discuss it now. Here's the other picture, and that one's a little bit blurry, but man, you could see how much taller he is than Nemkov.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's a much bigger fighter, yeah.
Yeah, and like this picture, bro, it almost looks like a light heavyweight and a heavyweight, man. For real. Like,
yes, he is a big light heavyweight.
2 days to go.
I feel like people really don't understand how big Julius is because you haven't seen him versus your favorite fighters yet. You only see him versus some other dudes, so you're like, oh, he's bigger than that guy, but we don't fucking know him. But now that you see him running up against, a name, somebody that you're accustomed to seeing, you're like, oh shit, this kid is fucking big.
Well, the crazy thing about a guy like Julius, right? I mean, you look at him and he's shredded. I mean, that's a dude that carries around a lot of muscle, but his last 3 fights, he's gotten a decision. So he's got the gas tank to move. You know what I mean? Not only is this dude just loaded with power, he's got a gas tank that can go too. So
and he's getting his shit off. Like he throws out a decent clip for a big boy, man. He throws out a decent clip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, for real, man. And Ben, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Nico and I did. And I think it was his second fight, man. He gassed out. Yep. He was handling the dude, but he gassed out and he ended up losing the fight. Was it his second fight, Nico?
I believe so. Yeah.
And that's his only loss too, right?
Yeah.
Versus Cam Olsen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was at the time, I know Nico was pumping him up to me, and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, bro, this dude looks great, man. But if he can't go 2 rounds, I was like, how the hell is he ever going to be like a top fighter? So I was like, I didn't write him off, but I was like, man, dude really needs to work on his cardio. But man, if you look at it now, and I mean, a lot of that, he's pro, he's fighting on TV at the time. I mean, that's like an adrenaline dump on top of the fact that, like you said, Nico, his arms just were shot going into that second round. But man, now he looks like he could fight 10 rounds if he wanted to.
Look, at that time, Julius was lifting different. And I remember after that fight, him coming back and telling me that he changed the way that he was working. If there's one thing that I know about that kid, and 2 things for sure, if he takes a loss, he turns it to a lesson. He goes back to the drawing board and he fixes it. He knew that his muscles blew up. And ever since then, that shit has changed. It's stopped. Every single time that he goes into a match, even if he wins, he comes away with a lesson from it. And he fucking improves every time, dude.
That's a lean muscle he's carrying too. You know what I mean? He's obviously found a setup that works for him to carry power and be able to carry his cardio.
Yep, you're right about that. So, so earlier in the night, we'll just go ahead and talk about Bellator now. Bellator, I think it's 268. Earlier in the night, you got Ben Henderson versus Brent Primus. Both those guys are former lightweight world champions. Primus, he kind of won his. Some people say it was a fluke. I don't think it was a fluke. It was just that he did that. He did the whatchamacallit kick, like the calf kick back then, and nobody knew what it was. You know what I mean? He kicked Chandler with that thing, and Chandler's leg gave out. Shortly after, the same exact way. The kick looks identical to when Dustin landed it against Conor in the first fight.
Yep.
And it wasn't a fluke. It was just people didn't know what they were watching at the time. It was ahead of its time. It was the first major fight that I saw end with a calf kick. So he's fighting Ben Henderson. Ben Henderson, man, I'm sorry, bro. I love Ben Henderson. I love the Warrior Spirit. But look, I'm gonna tell you guys now. I really think this dude was on all the steroids when he was in UFC, and when they started cracking down on it, this dude changed, and he's just not the same fighter, man. I don't think he is. He hasn't looked as athletic since they really cracked down with USADA. I'll guarantee you guys look up the timeline with his decline, and man, I really think that dude was on all of the roids, man. He was on everything.
It's a possibility, but he also, you got to remember, he had war after war after war. That shit catches up to you eventually. He spent what 50 minutes in a cage with Frankie Edgar.
Edgar, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's fought Cerrone, and he had some wars with, I think it was Jamie Varner that he had some fights with. Like, he's had a lot of fights too, you know. And I don't doubt that he was using something, but eventually that shit catches up to you.
I don't think he's athletic as he was. You know, I know what you're saying. I agree with you, but he just never. I don't know, man. It just seems like his speed went, and he's just not as athletic as he once was. That dude used to be a freak athlete.
If it's not PEDs, then it's definitely psychological with him, like getting removed from the UFC when he had such star potential, and people kind of looked at him as the next big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happening to you the way that it did, that could kind of fuck with a dude's psyche, and you never really bounce back the same way. You kind of start questioning everything.
Right. That's true. Look, if you would have told me,
did he get removed from UFC? He
just didn't resign because he won 2 in a row. Do you realize who the last guy he beat in the UFC was?
Who?
George Masvidal. Pretty crazy, man.
That is crazy. That's why.
Hasn't he lost 3 title attempts too in Bellator? Speaking of psychological shit, like hasn't he lost 3 different? Because he lost to Koreshkov. I want to say he lost to Michael Chandler too, and maybe he lost, or maybe it was only 2, but
2. But you know the crazy thing is, if you told me after the fight with Pettis, with the Showtime kick, the kick heard around the world, and then the UFC gobbled it up, if you would have told me that him and Pettis would be good for a few years, but then both of them would just start like becoming punching bags in a few years.
Yeah,
I would not believe you. I'd be like, hell no, you guys are crazy.
That's more of a testament to how the sport evolved, though, and these guys getting on shit. That's true. Shitting on them in any way. And that's the other thing as well, you know, that it's not that he's losing athleticism. These dudes is following in their footstep at a much earlier age. So by the time they get into the ring with them, it's like they got a half a step on these boys.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Hey, look, man, when my son break up in there at 19, stop. Stop. You, man. And we're going to be syndicated by them, my boy.
I hope so, man. I hope so, bro.
I'll bring my daughter down so that you can coach her up, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, look, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. Just my pick for that fight is I think that Brent Primus finishes the fight, man. I think that he's going to TKO Ben Henderson. It's a 3-round fight, so we'll see what happens. But I think
crazy.
he does.
That's so wild to me, man. I'm probably gonna do this a bunch tonight, man.
Zazakita is back from the other night.
I never thought he would be opening a show for my homie. Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
I remember watching him fight, like, oh my god, fanboying out over this dude. Now he opened a show for my dude. Like, that's crazy, mind blowing.
Yeah, Zazakita, you're right, man. I agree with everything you were saying, man. But I will just throw this out there. Brent Primus, I think, is 10-2. He's only got his only losses were Michael Chandler in the rematch by decision, and he lost his most recent fight to Islam Mamedov by a split decision. That was a pretty close fight. A lot of people thought he won that fight, but just one of those things. And Ben Henderson has lost his last 2 fights, and he's currently 28-10. His last fight was against Jason Jackson at welterweight, and the fight before that was against Michael Chandler at lightweight, and he got knocked out in 2 minutes. So there you go. I honestly think that basically they are just, I don't know. I think this is a good setup for Brent Primus to get back into lightweight title contention. What do you guys think?
I think that's what it is for both of these guys. You know what I mean? Because like if Primus wins, he's taking out a WEC and a UFC champion. And if Henderson wins, he took out the scrappy youngster. You know what I mean? He's still got some gas.
Former Bellator champ. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think kind of like you said, though, I think it's kind of like tailor-made for Primus to win. I would love to say Ben Henderson. I think even in my Fight Picks app, I picked Ben Henderson just because I needed to get some points. But I think I'm going to have to go with Primus. I just think that he's going to be a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. But maybe I'm wrong. I just think it's tailor-made for him to take the next step in the division to kind of be the next guy. I think whoever wins this is the next guy for the title after the Quealy and Pitbull fight. But
right, I think so too. Neko, what about you, man?
Who we talking about?
We're talking about Henderson versus Primus.
I'm gonna go with Primus for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't do it, man. If I had a sus list for Bellator, Henderson would be on it for sure.
Hey, so let's see.
Maybe you should build one.
Yeah. Nah, not yet.
Hey, Zazakita.
I really just tune in now for the show because my homie fights out of there. But I'm pretty UFC till I die over here.
Yeah, for real. Hey, Zazakita said, "What do you guys think about Aaron Pico fighting the undefeated Justin Gonzalez matchup for Bellator 271?" I think that he's in the right camp to do well in that fight. He's at Winklejohn now. Is that correct, Ben? Aaron Pico? Yeah. I'm always skeptical about him fighting a striker. And this dude, Gonzalez, has a couple of knockout wins. I was looking at his record earlier. He's got at least like 3 or 4 knockout wins. But it seems like he's more of a grinder. He takes a lot of fights to the finish, and I don't think that he'll be able to do that with Aaron Pico. I think Aaron Pico's got cardio for days. He just, I think that his just striking coaches towards the beginning of his career didn't really know what they were doing. But with Jackson Winklejohn in his corner, I think he'll be all right. But I am looking forward to that fight.
I think that's a fight that Bellator should have waited a little bit to make. One of their boys is going to get exposed. You know what I mean? Yeah. These are 2 guys that they could have built up really quite well at the same time, and unfortunately for one of them's going to get exposed. And
right,
that's exactly where I was going, Ben, for sure.
And Zazakita, you're right. He has been using his wrestling, and that was his problem in his first couple fights. It was like he was afraid to wrestle. It was almost like the Chuck Liddell thing. He was just using his wrestling in reverse. He needs to use it offensively, and he has been doing a better job of that lately. Pico is a much-watched fighter, only finishes. Hey, I think it was Chael Sonnen a couple years ago. He said, "Look, this guy is the LeBron James of MMA. You guys just don't know it yet. He's that far advanced in wrestling. So hopefully his techniques with striking and stuff like that can catch up with his wrestling. Because I mean, bro, he is must watch. Like Zazakita just said, man. I mean, he's awesome, bro. I mean, you watch his fights; they're all excitement. But hey, let's go to the co-main event. We have Bader taking on Corey Anderson semifinals. The winner, will be in the finals in 2022 against the winner of Julius versus Nemkov. Neko, how are you leaning for this fight?
I'm leaning towards Corey Anderson, but I'm pulling for Bader for selfish reasons.
Understood. What about you, Ben?
This was the only fight for me that was like super easy to pick. I feel like Corey Anderson is gonna maul him. I think he's just stronger. I think his wrestling is better. I think that I really do. I just think Anderson's gonna beat him. I like kind of like Neko said. I'd like Bader to win because I think that
he's the better match.
My pick for the main event would match up better with Bader than he would with Corey Anderson. But either way, I do. I just think that Anderson's just basically a younger, stronger Bader. Like or maybe he's not quite as young as I think he is. But either way, I think he's going to beat Ryan Bader.
Just so you guys know, for the Henderson versus Primus fight, we got even odds. They're both minus 110. This is according to FanDuel. For this fight, Ryan Bader is a plus 134. Corey Anderson comes back at minus 164. I'm going to tell you guys, I think that Corey Anderson gets hit a little bit more than he should, and I think Bader's going to knock him out. I know that goes against what both of you guys said, but I really do. I think Bader's coming off of a nice performance against Machida. If this was if he was fighting Corey Anderson in his last fight and not this fight, I would have said he would lose coming off of the loss to Nemkov. But because he fought Machida, he looked good in that fight. I think he's going to win this fight. Throws tomatoes. Bader peaked in the UFC. No, man, Bader's had a better career in Bellator, really, if you think about it. But
no, hold on.
Go ahead.
He is right to a degree.
To a degree, okay. Go ahead.
Like that was the best version of Bader I feel like we've seen. He did get over to Bellator and win championships, but it's not because he really improved.
Okay.
It was a shark in a pond, my boy.
I mean, look at the light heavyweights that he was fighting when he first came in. Liam McGeary and Linton Vassell, who ended up moving up to heavyweight. Like guys that you kind of would be like, who the hell are these guys? You know what I mean? That he was fighting boys. So
he kind of built them up. You know what I mean? Like he came from UFC. He had a name. There was nobody
he made the division
over there worthwhile. He went, got that title, and he built that division.
Whoa! Time out.
Who you going with?
Time out with all you guys. Look, he beat no names. Look, he beat Phil Davis. He beat King Mo, Matt Mitrione, and some unknown dude named Fedor. I mean, those are four pretty well-known guys.
I said when he came into the light heavyweight division. That's what I said.
Where did Phil come from?
The UFC.
Okay.
Yeah, and he did.
So that's one of Dana's boys.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Look. Here's how I see it. Look, that's one of Dana's boys. You feel me?
Right.
If Julius go and take this title, right, and then he go over to UFC and he take that title as well, that's one of Coker's boys.
Okay. All right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like that's on the mud over there. It's not the same. That's one of Dana's boys, and he wasn't beating nobody from Bellator that was worthwhile. He peaked over at UFC.
I mean, I'll give him credit for what he's done. I was just saying when he came over to the light heavyweight division, that division was probably the weakest in Bellator's entire company when he got there. I mean, it wasn't until later that guys kind of showed up and they kind of built the division. I mean, I'll give him all the credit in the world for beating heavyweights because that boy's not a heavyweight. I mean, you know, like
I'll
give him all the credit in the world for that. But when he showed up at the light heavyweight division, there was, I mean, Tito Ortiz was a fucking light heavyweight at one point in that division. I mean, in that company, you know what I mean? Like, so I just think that at this point right now, Corey Anderson wins.
All right.
I agree.
All I'm going to say is this. So, and you know, we don't have to, you know, we can agree to disagree. I honestly think his best work has been done in Bellator only because of the competition not being as good in the UFC. So I'm kind of agreeing with you guys in a way, but his best fighting winning streak, 5 in a row. He won 5 in a row twice in the UFC and then 5 in a row in Bellator. So, I mean, that's, you know, that's kind of telling that he's done at least as good in Bellator, I feel like. But and the other thing about
winning streak wasn't longer in Bellator, actually.
Yeah. Well, the thing that impressed me in Bellator was that he's finished people, you know. He's got several finishes. So because, you know, for a while he was knocking people out. Then he was winning by decision or losing every single fight for like 6 or 7 fights in a row. So just, I feel like when he came to Bellator, he kind of reinvented himself, you know, and maybe better or worse, you know, he's done pretty well. Let's see, Coker had a lot of Strikeforce boys that won UFC belts. It's not about promoters, it's about fighters. I mean, he did have some guys, but only because there was no other show in town. So those guys had to go to the UFC. There was nowhere else really for them when Strikeforce closed down and everything else. But so the main event, we have Julius taking on Nemkov. You know, Neko, I'll let you take this one, man. Go ahead. Just
no. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna pick Julius, man. I mean, we watched him from the beginning. I know he's a good friend of yours, and you know, you guys train together sometimes still, and I think it's a tall order for him to win, but I believe he could do it, and I believe he has the tools, and I think the fact that he's 3 inches taller than Nemkov is going to come into play. He only has a 1-inch reach advantage, but those 3 inches, you know, your knees are closer to the guy's chin. There's different advantages you can have. And I think that people are going to be surprised when they see the cage work. Just going to throw that out there. When these two get against the cage, I think that people are going to be surprised at how strong Julius is. But, you know, you guys go ahead and rock with it. I'm not really sure how it's going to end, though. I just think I'm picking him to win, but I don't know how it's going to end. But go ahead. Ben, go ahead,
Ben.
Neko,
everybody knows where I'm at.
I think this is a classic spot for a guy like Nemkov to underestimate the guy he's fighting. I think that Julius is going to be bigger and stronger than most light heavyweights that this guy has fought. I like the size matchup. I like the stand-up matchup. I like the fact that Julius has been able to go the distance the last 3 fights. And like you said, man, if you're a fan of the show, you're picking Julius. Like, your heart's in it for him. So that's what I'm rooting for Julius. I'm picking Julius to make the upset here.
Yeah. All right, so there's been a few hiccups along the way for Nemkov. I'm sure he was praying for Yoel or Rumble to come through. I'm sure of it. With their age, I'm sure he was ready to expose them and get a big name underneath the belt for him. But now he has to deal with this hungry fucking lion. The kid is in the best shape of his life right now. He only sticks to basics. He's not going to throw anything crazy. You really don't have anything to go off of in terms of, I only have to watch out for the right hand and left high kick of Johnson. And I know that Yoel is going to sit back and just wait on a big shot. You have somebody who's coming in and he's going to be throwing at a high clip at you. And he's been studying you. And you have to know that Nemkov is going to be trying to take Julius as serious as possible. But he's been spending his time mentally preparing for somebody like AJ. Yeah. You know, so he does have a tall order against him. This is a tough fight for Nemkov because he wasn't really ready to fight Julius. Right. Yes, of course, it's going to be a tough fight for Julius. That's the champion. The dude is nasty. He has bombs in his legs and hands. He can wrestle. He's athletic. From the looks of his workout, it looks like he's ready to take Julius into deep water and try and submit him. I heard that he went for over an hour in his open workout. So I think that this is going to be a fucking war, man. And that's honestly what I'm hoping for Julius. I remember him saying that he wants to be in a fight where he comes out bloody and like fatigued and, you know, being pushed to that limit. And that's just a testament to the mindset that the kid is walking in there with. Like he's a sicko, man, to his core. So, I mean, I'm ready for fucking war, baby. I'm ready for war. We're going to Arizona. We flying out. We're going to have the loudest section in the place, and nobody's expecting it. No one's expecting it. We're going crazy out there.
That's what's up. So you're picking Nemkov is what you're saying?
Right now, thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps.
Nico, so you say you're picking Nemkov?
So yeah, I'm rocking with Nemkov. No, fuck no, baby. Latuva, there's some magician. It's Julius all the way, man. Throwback, the Techno Viking. Anything you want to know the man as, he's coming through in the clutch. It's that time, baby. The title's going on his chest, and then if Ryan Bader comes through or Corey Anderson comes through, move the fuck out the way. The kid is leaving with $1 million. It's wild out here. It's like Squid Games. Everybody dies. Everybody dies.
And the odds have actually gotten closer over the last, I guess, 24 hours. Because right now, Julius is plus 215. Nemkov is minus 280. Yesterday, when I looked at it, Julius was in the 300s. So it's dropped at least 100. You know, for Julius, that's a nice swing. I mean, some people
saw that face off, man. They saw how big that boy was. They said, "Hold up a minute." Let's not count the kid out yet. Let's not count him out yet. Definitely
possible. So a couple other stories that I wanted to go over with you guys. Actually, Ben wanted to talk about Sean Strickland, and I'll piggyback off that because I want to talk about Strickland and the whole fight getting canceled. But Ben, go ahead. Well, I'll start it. So Luke Rockhold pulled out of the fight for an injury. I think he was going to get killed in the fight, so he may have just saved himself, you know, from finishing his career to Sean Strickland. But anyway, a bunch of different fighters were trying to call him out on social media, but it seemed like they were all smaller fighters that wanted to go up to 185. So go ahead, Ben.
So apparently, Bilal Muhammad was on Instagram and posted a screenshot of a comment that Sean Strickland had made regarding the country of Palestine, who's in like a turmoil right now. Strickland said, "First, I don't care if they both wipe each other out. It's just a fact. I'm not emotional. Secondly, I am fully aware of the history of the 1947 war, which Palestine lost. The 6-Day War, in which Palestine and other Arab states lost. Palestine will never become anything. It's barely recognized as a country. This is just a fact. They need to do what every other conquered people have done, and that's bend the fucking knee, integrate, and become safe and successful, or don't." And then he keeps going on and just kind of...
Sunday's too tight. I'm sorry. What a dickhead.
And then he just goes on to, like, talk more shit about Palestine, and apparently Neil Magny supported these comments, and now Bilal Muhammad wants to beat the fucking snot out of both of those dudes. And of course, it's a bad look for a guy like Strickland, who a couple weeks back said he wanted to kill somebody in the cage. Now that he's talking about hoping that an entire country gets fucking murdered, basically. So
yeah. Hey, Nico, I real quick, I just wanted to say, I don't know if you saw this, but this was definitely the comment of the night. I didn't want that to get by you. But yeah, Ben, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's wrong with Sean Strickland. This is a very impressive fighter.
Yes.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, Sean Strickland is very dangerous. He's a very good fighter, but he definitely as Akita, he seems unhinged. I totally agree. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I did do a little bit of research, and I looked over everything. And with Luke Rockhold out, and they need a short term, short notice replacement. I have a feeling that's going to be Kelvin Gastelum. I was looking to try to see if he had any fights lined up. He doesn't. I asked Ben to check because Ben's really good with that stuff. He couldn't find anything. And really, it'd be the only fight to make sense unless they give him like a no-name and, you know, basically just let him go out there and put together like a highlight reel knockout.
What's the weight class? 185?
Yeah, 185.
Yeah, it was like I was telling Will, you've got Cannonier matched up with Brunson. You've got Jack Hermanson matched up with Edmund Shabazian. You've got Whitaker versus Adesanya. Like literally everybody's matched up in that division right now except for Gastelum and Strickland.
Yeah, Zazakita, you're right, man. He does, but hey, at least the dude shows up and he fights, man. And I don't know, you never see him turning down a fight. Yeah, exactly. He does have the chin, and no, I don't think he would get knocked out either. But look, Dana will keep those short
fight
notice
at
guys
185, and you need somebody to take it short notice. You want eyes on the vet. Call Big Mouth. Who's he lined up with?
They're doing that rematch.
Yeah, they're doing the rematch because he got, you remember, because of the whole.
No, oh yeah. Why you gotta run that back? Don't run that back.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think Strickland would want to take a fight with a guy that's unranked.
That's the lineup to lose the Izzy class. That's 100% facts, yo. Did you see yo? Izzy's looking pretty jacked right now too.
Yeah, I've seen some different videos of him. Yeah, Big Mouth is rematching DeCoste. Yeah, exactly.
They just find him, man.
So, I heard that Izzy was moving to New York because he didn't like all the COVID restrictions in New Zealand and shit. Like he just moved to New York to train and stuff in there.
It's a good idea. You know.
Yeah, he'll get different training, you know what I mean, than what he's used to.
Yeah, you're right. You know, yeah, he definitely needs a win to keep his hype. I totally agree with you. If he doesn't win this fight, he better go back down to 170 and stay there.
But he stuffed 4 out of those 5 takedowns. What are you laughing about?
No, I mean, no, he did. You're right, but I'm just saying he's gonna have to go back down to
that ass right now. The dude went back to the drawing board. He improved.
Hey, but he took down Derek Brunson.
With the wrestling.
Listen,
he was training with
Derek Brunson. That's a fact.
He was training with Johnny Hendricks, right? That's where he was like kind of working.
Yes. Don't do that. Don't do that to that man. He's improving.
I'm laughing at what Brandon Carl said. Izzy moved for Comic-Con.
Yo,
and
stop.
I was laughing because I thought you were going to talk about Big Mouth taking down Derek Brunson. That's why I started laughing because I thought I knew what was coming next. But
he did take down Brunson. That's a fact.
I know that. That's why I was laughing because I thought that was what the next thing you were going to say.
No, of course. Look. Look, we're not saying that he's the same level as Brunson and Vettori, but he did go out there and stuff 4 takedowns.
Yeah.
So you can clearly tell that he's practicing his wrestling. Not every fighter in the UFC has to be the champion.
Right. I mean, that's true too. You know, actually, and now that we're talking about it, I think Kelvin Gastelum and Big Mouth would be a good fight. That'd be an exciting fight, man. I really think it would. You don't think that'd be a good fight, Ben?
I think that would be the one fight you'd see Gastelum go back to his grappling. I mean, strictly grappling. Why would you want to risk it? Holland is a long fighter. He's a big fighter. That's a guy that, I mean, I don't care how good your chin is. You get clipped, you get clipped.
That's true. Hey, look, I was listening to Chael Sonnen yesterday morning, and it made me think of something. So he's always talking about what fighters can sell pay-per-views. All right. And do you guys know who the 3 top names in the UFC are that can sell pay-per-views?
Conor.
I mean, obviously Conor's number 1.
Diaz.
Number 2?
Nate.
Apparently he's number 3. Okay, and then number 2 is Masvidal. And the crazy thing about that, and you know, Chael's got all the facts, and he was talking about the whole thing yesterday. But I was thinking, holy shit. All 3 of those guys are on losing streaks, like bad losing streaks. Conor's lost 3 in a row. Then you got Diaz, who's lost 3 in a row, right? Yeah, and then you have Masvidal, who's lost 2 in a row. And those guys still sell fights like it's nobody's business. That's crazy to me. It's just crazy. I would say probably number 4 would would probably be Dustin Poirier at this point, and number 5 is probably somebody like Francis.
Izzy.
Or Izzy, yeah. But man, those top 3 guys, it's crazy that those guys could sell a fight without even winning a fight, without winning a fight in a while. And those 3 are still like the top earners. That just blows my mind. But
yeah, 100%.
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out to you guys. So another thing that I did want to talk about is what was it? It's Chimaev. I know Chimaev has that fight against Li Jingliang coming up. If he wins that fight,
Jingliang.
If he wins that fight. No, well, Tim, we'll talk about that when it gets closer, but I don't think Masvidal's losing to Leon Edwards. I don't, man. I really don't. We'll talk about that more coming up. But look, if Chimaev goes out there and beats Jingliang at 170, look, the smartest thing in the world for him to do would just be like Conor McGregor, get your ass in the octagon, let's fight. That would be the smartest thing in the world for that dude to do, and he would end up becoming a big name just off of that call out. The fight wouldn't even have to happen. All he's got to do is say the words, Conor McGregor, let's fucking fight. Conor has this history of making fun of his like split lip and all this other stuff. It would be the smartest thing. Look, he'd be like, you went back down to 155, been getting your ass kicked, come back up to 170. You can't handle the weight cut, whatever. Bait him into it. I'm telling you guys, that dude would end up being an international superstar overnight just for the call out, but it's got to be the right call out. I mean, what do you guys think? And if the fight happened at this point, Conor would be in some trouble. Conor would be in a lot of trouble.
Conor would be in a lot of trouble. It's a fight that Conor would probably lose, but I feel like at this stage in Conor's career, if he does beat Conor, people aren't going to give him the credit that he's expecting to get out of it. If that makes sense. Of course, a lot of eyes would be on him, but I feel like they would more so be like, yo, Conor's washed.
Hey, that's okay. That's all right, man. You still gotta go for it, man. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like Chimaev still has, he's got to step up in competition. You say, oh, Conor's washed, and he is. He definitely is. But look, you're still saying, hey, man, I've only fought a bunch of no-name guys. Now I want to fight him.
It's 170 pounds.
Yeah.
He if he wins, I mean, I assume he's gonna win. I think it was
looking at Masvidal. Then, if we just said that he's the number 2, why isn't he looking at Masvidal?
That's what I was about to say. I say Chimaev calls out the winner of Edwards versus Masvidal.
You got to go for number 1, though, man. You got.
I would probably.
I don't think he's interested in money. I don't think he's interested in money fights. This is a guy that, from the second he stepped in, said, "I'm winning titles in 2 divisions." He wants to make as quick work as possible, so he doesn't have to cut weight anymore.
Is Chimaev currently ranked?
Huh?
No, he's not currently ranked.
No.
If he's not, then I might go the route of I'll do anybody in the top 10, honestly, or I'm gonna slay everybody in the top 10, and I would start at whoever number 10 is. I know what you're saying, and he does have a decent amount of hype behind him already, but he can continue to build that hype and just fucking chop heads off on the main events of like Fox 5. Like he doesn't have to do the pay-per-view show right now, dude.
But you got to put a name to the face, man. You got to put a name to the face. You can't.
You don't think that you can do that? You don't think you can do that headlining like ABC events?
Oh yeah, but look, here's the thing about it though. This is the other thing you got to think about. He could go out here. All right, I'm going to read to you guys some of these people. Right?
Yeah, give me top 10. Give me top 10.
You have Jeff Neal, you have Belal Muhammad, you have Neil Magny, you have Michael Chiesa, you have Jorge Masvidal, you have Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington.
Chiesa and Thompson. Chiesa and Thompson can headline Fox 5 or ABC any day of the week with Chimaev, and it would do fucking numbers.
It would. You're right.
I just feel like when
Chiesa and Magny headline on Fox midday. Do you remember this, Will?
Yeah,
I remember that.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What fight did you say it was?
Was it Chiesa and Magny?
Yeah, that was. Well, it was ESPN, but yeah, it was the middle of the day. Yep.
Right, 4 p.m. fight card or some shit.
So why not?
Yeah. So this is the only thing I'm going to say. You could take the route that you're talking about, Nico, right? at welterweight, and like you beat Li Jiangalang, he's number 11. They might bump you up to number 9, right? Then you can fight Masvidal, who's number 6. Then you can fight for a title eliminator. Or you could call out Conor McGregor, the biggest name in the sport, knock him the fuck out, and then call out somebody like Leon Edwards or Gilbert Burns and say, hey, I want to fight these guys. They're top 5. I'm looking for a title shot. And I think he jumps the line.
Yeah.
Because we've seen
I feel
it before.
like that's a sidestep, though. Like, really, though. Like, for what this guy wants to accomplish, calling out Conor is a step sideways. Like, yeah, it's a big money fight, but, I mean, there's no... It's not going to gain him as much as I think you think it would in that division anyway.
You don't think so?
No, just like he's coming off a couple losses at 155, and Chimaev kind of, like, I get what you're saying. It would be a humongous fight, but I feel like for career trajectory, it would kind of be a sideways step for him instead of towards what he wants, which is to win the 170 and then go to 185 and win there too.
All right, I'm gonna throw this out there, and then we can finish it. Conor's on a 2-fight winning streak at 170. It's got to mean something if he beats him.
No, shut the fuck up, man.
I guess I didn't think of that, bro.
I got to answer Zazakita. So he said the only top 5 lightweight I could see Conor beating is Darush, but even that fight I could see Darush wrestle fucking Conor. That's how far Conor has fallen. I agree with you in the top 5 that Conor's probably not winning any fights. But if you say top 10, there are a few good fights for him. Look, at this point, RDA would be a good fight for him, and Tony Ferguson would be a good fight for him. I think he could knock out Tony. At this point, I think he could. And RDA, I would say it'd be a toss-up.
If he could bait Michael Chandler into a stand-up fight, I like his chances of landing on his chin. But
that's true. I mean, he could.
Are these main events that you just said, Will?
Hey, look. Conor versus Cowboy is one of the highest selling pay-per-views of all time. It's in the top 10. If that's
it was
in the
a
top
comeback
10,
fight.
The only one of those fights that RDA fight would sell. You know it would. It was supposed to happen way back when.
Yeah.
That fight would sell.
Oh man, I guess RDA would sell.
That one would sell.
I think Tony would too. But you know,
I mean, you could probably. But is Conor going to main event like a TV broadcast, or is it going to be? I mean, I don't see a pay-per-view being.
No, honestly, just speaking as a fighter, like if I was a champion, you asked me to co-main for Conor versus Tony Ferguson, I'd be so pissy. If I was like a contenders fight, like I've been on like a 5-fight win streak, and I'm about to this fight, I get to fight for the title. There's no title fights on the card, but I got to do it behind Conor and Tony. I'd be so pissy.
It would be like Moreno Figgy 3 would be the co-main event on that card.
Exactly.
And Valentina versus Jessica Andrade would be the.
Man, that's disrespectful. That's so disrespectful.
That's what they do, though, man. That's what they do. But look, it would just have to be a good stacked card, kind of like the July card when Conor fought against Dustin Poirier for the third time, and it wasn't a title fight. They just didn't have any title fights, but they just had all good fights on there. Conor was already falling off. Now with this injury, you'd think it would only hamper him even more. I think that, like Nico said the other week, 100%, I think that Conor should just go box, not have to worry about getting his legs fucked up anymore. Just my personal opinion. I think Nico hit the nail on the head with that one. Conor would never would only accept pay-per-view. The man will never accept not being the main event. I agree with that. Conor Aldo is the only fight I'd want to see. Nico wants to see that fight too. All right, so
I do want to see that fight.
Yeah, I know. I said you do.
Fight again.
I don't think Jose would go back up to 145.
5 pounds, 145. I want to see the rematch. That's what I want to.
Let's not forget that the introductions were like 20 times longer than the actual fight. All right, Nico, come on, man. Come on, Nico. Nico was there, and he's a Jose Aldo fan, so I know that shit just pissed him off. Everybody's leaving. Fuck it. I don't even care. This will just be my my own show about my picks. Look, we got to move on to the UFC. We got to get this in here. This weekend, there's another fight night. Aldo has looked awesome, but how awesome did he look before he lost to Conor?
Oh my God, yo, Will, cut it out, man. Give it a rest, man. He got emotional. He got hot, baby. Damn,
I think you're getting emotional right now and getting hot.
All right, the sun shined on Conor's ass. Like it's all good, dude. Then he caught what? What are we going to talk about right now? Are we going to talk about Chad Mendes, his short-term fight? Are we going to talk about old ass Eddie? What are we going to talk about here right now? Like, stop, bro.
What about Sober Costa? What about Sober Costa? If we talk about him,
why are we talking about Sober Costa? And why are you shocked I said old ass Eddie?
You know what, Nico?
I heard.
I don't like your attitude, man.
That hurts my feelings.
Look, we got to talk about UFC.
He was old.
I believe it. He was older. He was older.
He's my boy.
But
he's my boy too, and he has since I was in high school.
Nico said that when he was playing on the playground in kindergarten, he was an Eddie Alvarez fan.
Oh my God, Eddie Alvarez was around when people could punt to the head.
What, in Pride? Did he fight in Pride? I think he may have had a Pride fight, but I'm not positive. But anyway, we got to get to the
Ben is salty right now.
Ben is pissed. Look, we got to get to the UFC picks, man, for this weekend. Let me see something. Hold on, because I am checking this out. Did he fight? No, he didn't fight in Pride. But fun fact, 37 years ago, he fought in the first Bellator MMA event. I'm just fucking. It was actually 12 years ago. But he did start fighting in 2003. I mean, that's, what, 18 years ago? That's a long time, Ben. Come on, man. Ben, admit it. He's a little bit older. He's weathered the storm.
Yeah.
Damn, he was fighting professionally when he was like 19 or 18. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. Big Mouth versus Conor. At least the ground won't come into play. At 170, yeah, I'll go for that. Sober Costa versus Kai Vittori. No, we want Sober Costa versus Calm Francis. That's the fight of the lifetime. But so fight night this weekend. Not the greatest card on paper. Bouts that I do want to bring up: Andrew Sanchez versus Bruno Silva. We're not really going to do picks, but I do think Bruno Silva is going to knock out Andrew Sanchez. Every time Sanchez wins a fight or two, he gets TKO'd, knocked the fuck out, all that kind of stuff. He actually lost his last fight, but Bruno's pretty damn good, man. I think Bruno is a future star, or at least he'll get his chance to fight some stars in the future. But the important fights, I would say, on the event: Jim Miller versus Eric Gonzalez. Gonzalez is making his promotional debut. I'm trying to remember what his record is. Let's see. He's coming from. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this up. I had it up earlier and I closed the tab. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. His nickname is the Ghost Pepper, so that should tell you something. I'm not sure what it tells you, but it tells you something. He's coming off a 2-fight win streak. Let's see. They were both by decision, right? Yeah, he's okay. No, he knocked out one guy and then he won by decision. He's got a lot of TKOs, but he has been choked out before. Jim Miller does have some pretty nice ground game work, but I think that this kid is going to come in and beat Jim Miller. Jim Miller is just another guy who's just he's been through a lot, man. He's been through a lot of storms, and he hasn't exactly aged the best. Now, Jim Miller could come out here, get a takedown, and choke this kid out, and we've seen him do that to some young people before. But I think this kid is supposed to be pretty damn good. But my pick
Jim
is
Miller's got
Jim
like
Miller.
3 minutes.
Yeah, my pick is Jim Miller getting knocked out.
He's got like 3 minutes to get you taken down and get you submitted, or it's over. I mean,
Pretty much. I mean, he hasn't been knocked out that many times. In fact, Dan Hooker's the only one I could think of that has knocked him out. I know there's a couple others. Who else has knocked him out? I'm trying to look now. Dan Hooker and there you go, Donald Cerrone with that head kick. Those are about the only two guys that have knocked him out before. But I just think Miller's a little bit past it. But that's my official pick. What about you, Neko?
I'm definitely not going to go with Miller.
Yeah, you're going with Eric Gonzalez? All right.
I know. I mean, I could just pick against you, but I'm not going to do that for this fight.
Hey, look, we got some coming up that we are going to pick against each other just for the hell of it, just because I don't like your attitude. But we'll wait on that. What about you, Ben? Who are you going with?
I'm going to pick Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah. Okay. So we're actually all in agreement on that one. The co-main event: Andrei Arlovski versus Carlos Felipe.
I'm probably going to go against everyone here.
Well, Felipe is 11-1.
We'll pick the same way. You and Will pick the same way.
Look, Felipe is 11-1. He's got he's got 6 wins by knockout, 5 by decision, 1 loss by majority decision to Sergey Spivak. I don't even know, man. I honestly, and I don't even want to hear Nico's mouth, but I'm going to pick Arlovski by decision on this fight, man.
Let's go!
That's who I'm picking too, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go!
And I don't care that he's an underdog either.
All you hop on board, let's go. That's one man he'll never make the suspect list. I don't care what happens to him ever. We ride to the guy. That's an OG. Put some respect on his name.
This is a trap fight for Felipe, dude. This is 100% a trap fight. He's gonna think he already called Arlovski a gatekeeper to begin with. Bro, you're gonna get humbled. This guy knows exactly how to fucking do what he needs to do to win this fight, and I'm gonna pick Arlovski. This other guy's gonna come in thinking he can. Arlovski's chin that people are talking about, dude. He's been getting hit lately, so like, I'm liking Arlovski here.
Lock it. Let's go.
Hey, it's actually even money too, and I think Carlos was the favorite earlier in the week. I'm not positive. Oh wow. Are you kidding me? Hey, look, I'm going to tell you guys right now, anybody watching this is my free pick for you for the bets. Bet on Eric Gonzalez. He's a plus 185 underdog against Jim Miller. Bet on him. You'll make some money. You're welcome. In fact, I may even throw a little parlay on him and Arlovski just for some fun, just to make this card better.
I was just thinking that, man. I was just thinking I might put a little bit of money on him and Arlovski.
I'm going to be in Arizona. Don't make me get wild out there, boys.
Hey, so the other fight, the main event, Aspen Ladd versus Norma Dumont. Ben, you want to talk a little bit about how this fight came to be?
So was it last week Aspen Ladd missed weight, like big time, like passed out on the scale kind of with missing weight. So they removed her from her fight. And then earlier this week, Holly Holm gets knocked out of her fight with Dumont. And obviously Ladd is ready to go because she just had a full training camp and she just basically shed all the weight she needs. And so now you have 2 rising contenders fighting each other, which is kind of like I feel with the Aaron Pico fight from Bellator. Like, this isn't really what you'd want to do, putting these 2 girls against each other right now, because you're going to derail the train of one of them. But, I mean, it's a solid co-main event, if you ask me, somewhere. But I don't really know how main event worthy this is or how it will be, but we'll see, I guess.
Yep. I totally agree with you. But I could tell you, man, I think, and Neko, tell me if I'm wrong, I think with a win here, Aspen Ladd may have a good case for a title fight. I mean, she's at the top of the division.
Norma Dumont.
Yeah, Norma Dumont. Yep.
Norma's last fight.
Let's see. I can look that up.
I think she's 4-1 in the octagon. Dumont.
Right. I think so too. Aspen. So she's 6-1. Aspen's 9-1. But inside the octagon, Ben's right.
Dumont's last fight, she beat Felicia Spencer by split decision.
No, she's gonna need one more.
Think so?
Yeah, she's gonna need one more.
Let me look at one more thing.
Your name.
Aspen Ladd's last fight was she beat Yana Kunitskaya by TKO.
Yeah, right, but what is Aspen's ranking right now?
Aspen Ladd right now
number 10.
Who's over her?
10.
Who's over her?
I'll tell you what. Well,
yeah. Give me like top 5.
Juliana Pena, Yana Kunitskaya. No, hey, Aspen Ladd's number 3, bro.
Oh yeah, she's 10 in the pound for pound.
Yeah,
she was 10 in women's pound for pound.
Yeah, only Holly and Jermaine Durandamy are above her in the rankings.
Then it is what you said then, Will.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a title fight then. There's nobody above her besides the champ, really.
But there's no way Ladd's ready for Amanda Nunes.
I agree. Look, what's her name? Misha Tate keeps bro, look at that. He said add Anglickas to that parlay, probably pays 10-1. Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, might not be a bad little play. But look, Misha Tate keeps calling out Aspen Ladd, talk shit about her for missing weight.
Parlay.
Some sites you can, some sites you can't. Yep. So, but
that's crazy. That's a game changer. I never knew that.
Yeah. Hey, but look, if Aspen Ladd wins this fight and her team thinks that she needs one more win, let her fight Misha Tate, because then you really know where she stands with a world-class fighter, and that's kind of what you need to know. But I am taking Aspen Ladd in this fight. I don't know enough about Norma. I've seen her fight. Her last 4 fights, she got knocked out by Megan Anderson in the first round. Yeah, in the first round. Besides that, I mean, she's just won a bunch of like split decisions, majority decisions. She's got 2 submissions to her name. And Aspen Ladd, she's knocking people out. I think Aspen's going to knock her out, man. I think it's going to be early too. I really do.
This is a really weird fight too.
It is.
It says that Dumont's missed weight at least twice.
Yeah.
In her 3 fights in the UFC. And it's just weird that Aspen Ladd would have her weight issues too. So this is a weird fight between 2 girls that can't really make the division.
Hey, just wait for it. Tomorrow during the weigh-ins, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, this fight has been bumped up to 145."
Well, dude,
anyway.
It said that Dumont made her first weight miss 139.5 pounds. Like she was 139.5 pounds the first time she weighed in for a fight in the UFC.
That's rough, man.
Oh, and then she went up to 145 for a few fights. Now she's back down at 135.
I think she had 1 fight at 145, and then she came back down.
But isn't that where Felicia Spencer was?
She so she actually debuted in the UFC at featherweight against Megan Anderson and got knocked out. Mm-hmm. And then she went down to bantamweight, missed weight at 130 with 139.5 pounds, and then she fought Felicia Spencer at 145, and now she's apparently dropping back down.
Yeah, so she's been bouncing back and forth. All right. Yeah, I feel good about Aspen Ladd whipping her ass.
Because it said Dumont was supposed to fight Bia Malicki at April 10th, 2021 show. In turn, the bout was pulled from the card because Dumont missed weight by 3.5 pounds. So she had a 4.5 pound weight miss and a 3.5 pound weight miss back to back.
Yep. Hey, before we go, I just wanted to talk to you guys. So we're all picking Aspen Ladd, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go, I did want to bring up that So Macy Barber, who's had a very interesting career so far, she was set up to fight Montana De La Rosa coming up at UFC 269, and De La Rosa pulled out of the fight today. So they replaced her with a girl named Erin Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield is 7-1. She's had one fight in the UFC that she won by decision. Besides that, pretty much most of her wins have been by decision. She's got a couple of knockouts. I think that this is beautiful for Macy Barber, because what you want for Macy Barber is somebody who's going to stand up and think they can knock you out, because those are the girls that Macy Barber knocks out. You don't want to stand in the pocket with her. I wouldn't stand in the pocket with her. She's got a fucking right hand from hell. And I think it's a perfect fight for her. Somebody who's going to come in there and think that they can knock her out and is going to get knocked out. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Tim, Aspen Ladd is the favorite, but I don't think by a lot. Let me look that up real quick. But what do you guys think of Macy Barber changing? I mean, De La Rosa is pretty good, Montana De La Rosa, and I think that she might have had more issues with her than she will with this Erin Blanchfield girl. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that if Macy Barber fuck around and lose this fight right here, sus. I'm not playing, Will.
I feel you. No, she's coming off the win.
I'm tired of picking Macy Barber now and her not coming through for me, man. This got to be like the third time now, man.
Well, look, Macy lost her last fight but won a split decision. I thought that Miranda Maverick actually won that fight, even though, even though they gave it to Macy, I think that she lost that fight. Just my opinion. It was a close fight, but you remember she had gotten taken down a few times and didn't do a whole lot of damage or anything like that. But Ben, what do you think, man?
I mean, I pretty much agree with Neko on this one. Like, you lose this fight, and what? You know, what do you do if you're her and you lose this fight? I mean, Blanchfield's not like a slouch or anything, you know. Right. Her debut was supposed to be against Norma Dumont, actually, but Dumont missed that weight. So, and like before she came into the UFC, she was riding off 2 back-to-back performance of the night wins in Invicta. So this is a scrappy girl here. But as long as Barber knows that she's in for a fight here, I mean, I think she'll do okay. But
let me ask you guys this. Do you think Barber could make it down to 115? Because she's fighting at 125 right now. You think she can make it down to 115? Because she's a little bit...
She has the body composition of somebody who could make it down to 115. Okay. That's what I'll tell you. For her frame, for the way that she's built when she walks in at the weight that she is fighting at, I can tell you right now, she could get down to 115.
I'd be worried about her being drawn out a little bit, you know what I mean? I'd be worried about that being a heavy weight cut.
We watch fighters change their body compositions all the time. We watch Aldo do it from 145 to 135. Machida. We see exactly how old he is. We see Machida do it. We've seen Conor do it going up. Like, you can change your body composition. You just have to put the work in, and it's whether or not she wants to do that. Yep, you know, that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Tim, Aspen Ladd is minus 130. Norma comes back at plus 110. So not that big of a favorite, but enough of a favorite. I don't know. Dude, Julius has been bet up to plus 415 now in Vegas. Really? So he's a bigger underdog now? Because he went down from yesterday. Let's see. But, yeah, I don't know, man. These odds are all over the place for his fight. I think it's because he's such a dark horse in the division and such an unknown. I think
115 look appetizing right now.
Yeah, definitely. So, you guys, anything else you wanted to discuss tonight before we call it quits?
Nah, man, I got nothing.
Okay. Before we leave, Neko, I got one thing to say to you.
All right, man.
All right. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right, hold on. I'm getting my stats up because we're going to have it out about this eventually, but there's something that I want you to think about, okay? I looked at all of Peter Yan's fights, all the stats. This dude has never This dude has never fought anybody who's over like 5'8". You know that Sandhagen is like 5'11".
You're doing this shit right now. You're doing this shit right now.
I'm just giving you something to think about. Look, I'm showing you my hand and telling you, and I want you to do your homework too, man. And I thought
my homework is the eye test, man.
I thought that Aljo was taller though.
I do MMA.
Listen, did you know that Aljo is only 5'8"? I thought this dude was close to 6 feet tall. He's only 5'8". That's the tallest guy Peter Yan's fought. I just want to throw that out there.
That's dope.
What's that?
That's dope. Yeah, that's good. That's dope. That's nice.
I'm giving you something to look at before we have this thing and we go at it in a couple weeks.
So you're just preparing yourself ahead of time to be wrong, Will?
Hey, I'm just letting you guys know. Hey, he said he's sprinkling some coin at 4-1 on Julius. No, I wanted to point out a fact. I didn't even say who was going to win. I just said, look, he's 5'11". That's three. And look, how tall is Peter Yan, Nico?
5'4".
I think that you're undercutting him just a little bit, but realistically, he's 5'7". But he's usually at least as tall as his opponents or taller. I mean, he fought Aldo, who's like 5'8".
Bro, do you know what I see Mike Tyson do to motherfuckers?
Yes, but Peter Yan is not Mike Tyson.
Nah, he's Peter Yan, and this ain't boxing, this MMA. You still get what the reference is. Just because you're taller don't mean jack shit.
I do.
You get the reference. Look, John Jones came away with the W, but I seen what Daniel Cormier did to him. He laid hands on that motherfucker. All up in that clinch. Put that uppercut right on his jaw.
That's true. That's true. I don't know, man.
Peter got hands like he got the crazy hands.
Great.
Sleep.
I think it's gonna be an awesome fight, man. And I just wanted you to know about that height differential before you started, talking all that junk, man.
Look, when he come in with those straight punches, my man gonna slip that shit and hit him with the craziest Osoto Gotti sweep that you've ever seen in your life. Back.
How much of a height difference was it between Volkanovski and Ortega?
Not much. Because Ortega isn't that tall. He just looks tall because all the guys in his weight division are short. But it was more of a I think it was more than it will be for this fight. I'm not positive, but I think that Brian Ortega is only like 5'8" or something. Isn't he? Maybe 5'9". Hey, Nico, before we go, though, I do want to show you guys this because I don't want to leave it on a bad note. I'm going to show you this. Now, look, Ben, we were reading that article earlier, and I was reading some other articles about this Nemkov versus Julius fight, and they were talking about how Nemkov has these nasty leg kicks, Muay Thai style, and I've seen him fight, and he does have some good leg kicks. But look, I'm gonna throw this up there just for you, Nico. There it is, man.
That's what he does.
It just takes one.
KBC Garage, baby. KBC Garage, knees build character. And they're not just talking about knees that they'll lay on your body, baby. They're checking them fucking kicks too. The peripheral vision is on 100. So go for it.
And we've seen it a million times. That's all it takes is one kick and one check to end a fighter's night to change his career. You know what I mean? I mean, you've seen these guys a lot of the time, they don't even recover. If I was an MMA fighter at this point, I would not be throwing leg kicks unless I was like an insane jiu-jitsu fighter and I just wanted to be taken down. That's the only time I'd be throwing leg kicks at this point. And I wouldn't. It's so fucking dangerous at this point, man. Those calf kicks, those leg kicks. What's that?
Throwing those Damian Maia leg kicks.
Yeah, exactly, man. Oh, man. Anyway, guys, thank you. Awesome show. Ben, thank you for coming again, man. We appreciate it. You know, one of these days we're gonna get you to drink some vinegar or do your Altoid in the Coca-Cola bottle. But we'll keep going.
It's a Mentos. It's not an Altoid.
Mentos, Aldo, whatever.
Not fuck that up.
Mentos, Jose Aldo, whatever.
Altoid and a Coke, and it's not gonna do a fucking thing. It better be a Mentos, baby.
Yep. All right.
The fresh maker.
All right, Neko, you ready to take it to the house, man?
You know that I am, man. Thank y'all once again for joining us here at the Fight Guys podcast for episode 66, man. We only 3 off from Will's favorite number. What a freak. Anyways, we're going to holler at y'all next week. There is no need to adjust your screen. This is not Bruce Buffer, but you've been here live on TFG. Holler at y'all next time, man. Peace.